Cooking doesn't bring me joy. And it's really expensive living alone because there always seems to be leftovers that I end up throwing out or just forget that they're in the fridge. What about you? Hi, I'm Beck and I make videos about this crazy stage of life while living solo. If you're a little bit like me and you obviously have to feed yourself, also at the moment with the current cost of living situation and grocery prices going through the roof, you're probably thinking about cooking more at home and cooking cheaper meals at home. But at the same time, it doesn't bring you joy and it's more of a chore than a pleasure after work at night or even on the weekends. I don't enjoy meal batching on the Sunday. I want to go out, do hikes, go camping, have fun. And yes, so I sort of had a thought about what to do about my current situation because I used to live on quite a few ready-made meals, good quality ready-made meals, but of course, they come with a price tag. So now that I'm trying to pull back and save at least $10,000 in the next 24 months to be able to absorb the interest rates in my mortgage rate, I had to be a bit smart about it. So I went back to the books and I had to think about recipes that are easy, quick, and don't cost a lot of money. So I thought I'd quickly make a video about what are my favorites and my go-tos for the last couple of weeks. They need to be quick to cook, they need to be reasonably healthy, and they need to be able to be taken to work and I can reheat them there. I really have 4 meals that I tend to cook for a week, or I usually say I'll cook one weekend and that makes me enough food to feed me for the next week and often into the next week after that, because I make sure that I at least freeze one portion every time. So that way I don't really have to cook a full-on cook up every weekend and have a bit of a reprieve. So the first meal I tend to make all the time is a chickpea curry. And if you go online and put in easy and cheap chickpea spinach curry, quite a few recipes come up. If you're not a fan of spinach or greens, just put in chickpea curry or easy chickpea curry recipes. There is quite a few available. Basically, it's super easy. You get a tin of chickpeas, a tin of tomatoes or diced tomatoes, tin of coconut milk or cream, and some onions, and also some Indian spices. I often just have a spice jar or a packet in the cupboard, so that's easy enough to do. And then you more or less chuck all of that into the pot. You cook it all up, warm it up, add the spinach at the end or whatever vegetables you feel like, add it in the process. Let it cook and voila, there you go. You've got a beautiful curry. It's healthy, it's got protein in it, which is so important at our age. I try to make sure that all my meals have as much protein in them as I can sort of fit. And yeah, then I usually have a massive pot or at least a 5-liter pot of that. So I often double the amounts when I cook it. And I'll probably take it to work for 3 days that week, and then I'll put another couple of portions into the freezer. Depending on how much time I have, I either cook rice from a big bag and take that, or when I'm a bit lazier and just want to have it done quickly, I get the pouches or the ready-made little bowls of rice that you can just throw in the microwave at work. The second easy recipe, I guess, that everybody cooks is just the plain old stir fry. And I make a variety of that. It's either a beef stir fry, ground beef, like minced meat, or it's a chicken stir fry, or sometimes I feel like a vegetarian version and I use tofu or tempeh in it. It all depends what you enjoy. I find tofu and tempeh can sometimes be a little bit trickier to cook with, so you might need to put them in soy sauce and marinate them a little bit for a while to take away the tofu flavor really. But 3 versions: beef, chicken, tempeh, fish, whatever you fancy. Use some sort of protein. And then I tend to keep it simple. I either go and buy one of those stir-fry bags at Aldi's or the other supermarkets with some cabbage, onions, etc. in them. Or if I want to make it really, really simple, I literally just get some carrots, some capsicum, and some sort of greens, either spinach or broccoli mainly, and just put those 3 vegetables with some garlic, soy sauce, onions, ginger if you have, in a pan, fry it all up, and then in the end add some soy sauce, some fish sauce, some oyster sauce, whatever you have in your fridge mainly. It's a quick meal. It takes not more than 20 minutes to cook. And then you can serve it either with rice again, or if I want to treat myself, I add some noodles and enjoy it that way. So number 2, the good old stir fry. You can't go wrong, and it's great to use up all your vegetables in the fridge, all your leftovers, just chuck it all in a pan and have another really good meal for a couple of days. And I find they actually do freeze well. Without the rice, I usually freeze them. So I put 1 or 2 portions in the freezer and then just cook fresh rice for whenever I need it. The third dish you could argue about is more a winter dish, but I don't mind eating it throughout summer as well if it's not stupid hot. And that is a red lentil and pumpkin soup. Again, super easy to cook. I get a pumpkin, I get some either cream or coconut cream, again, whatever you like. So I often just roast the pumpkin, a full butternut pumpkin, in the oven for an hour at 180 degrees. Get that out, take the skin off, put it in the pot, fry it up with some onions and garlic, then add 1 liter or 1.5 liters of stock. And you can choose beef, chicken, vegetable, it doesn't really matter. Add the stock, let that all simmer away, and then I will add the red lentils. They actually don't take a lot of time to cook. So it's maybe another half an hour for them to sort of cook away, and then have a little taste. Once the lentils are soft, you can add the cream. Actually, if you do want cream, add cream at that stage so it can thicken up a little bit. I also tend to add some greens again, so often put in a head of broccoli just to add some little bit more nutrition. And yes, once that's all cooked through and done, I will let it cool down a little bit for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then add a puree stick into it, and yeah, that's the soup done. You can play around a little bit with the thickness of it. Some like it thicker, some like it thinner, and it cooks up 10 liters easily, nearly, if you have a big enough pot. It's beautiful to eat with some white bread and butter, which is not that healthy, but as a treat again, or as a lunch, it's actually all right, I think. So bread, butter, bit of soup, or just the soup by itself is amazing. And then lastly, probably more for summer, is the good old salad. So again, I live by myself. I don't have heaps of salad in the fridge, but I often just get the salad bags, which can be tricky because they tend to get quite soggy quickly. So you have to really think about this one. So I tend to buy them and eat the salad then straight away, but I just make a salad mix of whatever I like. I usually like the butter leaves. They're nice and soft. Add some tomato, carrots, capsicum, cucumber, etc. to it, and then maybe some shredded cheese. I make up a dressing with balsamic vinegar and some mustard or honey if I feel like it, or a yogurt dressing with some garlic. And yeah, it depends on the day. And then again, I look for a source of protein in this, and I often use chicken. Also, I've added halloumi at some stage, or I guess you can make it a vegetarian version as well with beans, like the white butter beans are quite nice in a salad, or lentils. Again, whatever you like, make a salad, add some protein, add a nice dressing. They're actually not hard to make. Just add some oil, yogurt, and vinegar, or balsamic vinegar, mustard, and honey. Mix it all together. It's beautiful. It doesn't take long, and it doesn't have any additives. And yes, that's that. So that's, I think, that's 4 of the main dishes I make on rotation really in my house. So that's the 4 recipes that I'm using. They're cheap, they're easy to cook, you can freeze them, you don't have any waste, and you don't have any waste. If you're more a person that actually enjoys cooking, then there is another way of doing this cheaply. And I actually bought myself this book, which is called $10 Meals. And the author is called Chelsea Goodwin. And I found it, I think, on Instagram or wherever I heard about it. But the good thing about this book is that it is a meal plan for the full week. So you go shopping, you buy everything for the week. It gives you a recipe for every day of the week, but it makes sure that you're using up all the ingredients in it. So again, you don't have any wastage. It looks a bit like this, if you can see. So you're starting Monday to Sunday. And on this one, for example, you've got Mexican beef chili, you've got rainbow minestrone, beef chili mac and cheese, so they're using the chili again, Greek lemon chicken, which is a new dish, just to give you some variety. Then you have another bit of the minestrone on a Thursday, so you're cooking a bigger batch, so you have 2 days to eat from it. Friday is loaded potatoes, which will use the chili again, and on Saturday you've got chicken soup to use up the rest of the chicken. So if you're a cook and you like to eat more variety than I usually do, this is a great book. It's got meal plans for sort of favorites and vegetarian, meat dishes, name it. I can only recommend it. I've only used it once or twice when I was actually in the mood of cooking, or I had friends staying and I needed a bit more extra food in the house. So yes, there is a lot of options. The internet is a wealth of knowledge to find cheap, easy recipes. So have a look, see what you like. I'm curious, let me know in the comments what your go-to dishes are by living alone and not wanting to spend too much money on groceries.